Am Yisrael chai v'kayam. Am Yisrael chai v'kayam. Am Yisrael chai v'kayam. Am Yisrael chai. Ay, 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 na, na, na. Am Yisrael chai v'kayam. Am Yisrael chai v'kayam. I am Mashiach now. Am Yisrael, have no fear, Mashiach will be here this year. Am Yisrael, have no fear, Mashiach is already here. We want Mashiach together. We want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. We want Mashiach now. We want together. We want Mashiach. We don't want to wait. We don't hear you. We want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now. We want Mashiach now. We don't want to wait. We don't have to be ashamed of saying we want Mashiach now because they know what they want. We have to scream it to Hashem. We have to scream it to Hashem. Hashem, you promise, you promise, you promise. We are doing everything possible. There hasn't been a nation like us throughout all history. Followed you blindly through the desert, through pogroms, through inquisition, through expulsions, through Holocaust, through this and that. And we still are here, and we're still vibrant, and we're still doing mitzvot, and we're still looking to improve the world. We're still trying to work on ourselves. We're looking for light. We come to Farbrengen. We come to shul. We put on tefillin. There's no one like us. Hashem, you have to do what you promised. You have to do your promise. I said this Maisa, I tell this story by the rally the other day, it's a powerful story. It's a powerful, powerful story. The heights of the Holocaust, before Hanukkah, in Bergen-Belsen, the Jews decided as we know, that the Germans didn't just want to wipe the body. The Germans wanted to wipe away the soul as well. They weren't just looking for Jewish bodies. They purposely wanted to humiliate the Jews so they could humiliate God. We all saw pictures with the goat shearing ceremonies where they take rabbis and Jewish people with beards and peyot and public. They would give scissors to kids and spit at them and cut them like goats. The famous picture of the rabbi who's standing over his congregation with tefillin and talit saying Kaddish right before they kill him. If you look closer to the picture, you see that the tefillin is completely split apart. Completely split apart. They did this on purpose. So when there was any opportunity to be able to bring light, even at the darkest of moments, we had self-sacrifice for it. During the heights of the Holocaust in Bergen-Belsen, right before Hanukkah, the Jew says, let's try to light the menorah. Question is menorah. Where do you get a menorah in a concentration camp? So of course they sprung to action. The menorah was made from Jews' shoes, the murdered Jews' shoes. They put it together. The wick was made from murdered Jews' pajamas. And the oil was a shoe polish that the Jews were forced to polish the German boots. Imagine taking the object of darkness, of humility, of humiliation, and using it to light. The Blujever Rebbe, Rabbi Yisrael Spiro, was given the honor of lighting the menorah the first night. He starts with the bracha, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Chanukah. Blessed are you, Hashem. A blessing that thanks Hashem for giving us the mitzvah and sanctifying us with the mitzvah of lighting the menorah. Second bracha that we say the first night. Asher sha'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim ahem bizman hazeh, who performed miracles for our forefathers during those days and this time.
Taylor Swift has nothing on you.
I hope so. But now comes the third bracha. The third bracha, Shechiyanu v'kimanu v'giyanu. Right? What does that mean? What's Shechiyanu? Who gives us life. V'kimanu, and sustains us. V'giyanu, and brought us. Lizman, and brought us to this time. Rabbi Spiro came to this bracha, and before chanting the bracha, he pauses and he turns around as though he's looking for someone. But within a few seconds, he turns back around and he valiantly says the bracha, Shechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'giyanu l'zman hazeh. After the menorah was lit, the capo of the camp, a Jew, came up to the Bluevshiva Rebbe and says, Rebbe, I thought you were wise, and I'm questioning your wisdom. I understand, he says, wanting to light the menorah here in the concentration camp. I understand even saying the first two blessings. I don't understand how could you have possibly chanted Shechiyanu, that you give us life, that you sustain us and brought us to this time. How? How can you say this when we're surrounded by death, by corpses? How do we thank God for this? The Bluevshiva Rebbe says, you know what, I too had this question. That's why I paused. That's why I didn't immediately say it. I was actually turning around to find the Rav. There was a Rav over there. I wanted to ask him if it's halachically permissible to say this blessing now. But when I turned around, what did I see? What did I see? I saw Jews who've been through hell, who only want to bring light, and in the dark pits of hell are willing to take the symbol of darkness and thank God for light. And then I thought to myself, wow, what a people does our God have. A people who are devoted to Him, loyal blindly. For this I say Shechiyanu. I say Shechiyanu for our people, that we are alive, that Hashem has such a people like us. We are the people of light. We're not the people of darkness. We don't look for revenge. We don't look to kill others. When I saw videos of children, not this conflict, but other, of Palestinian children, God forbid, hurt or death, or even their own terrorists, I look at this, these are kids, these are 18, 17-year-old kids who are brainwashed. I feel bad. I really feel bad. I really feel bad. They could have a future. They could have a life. They're brainwashed and indoctrinated from birth, literally, unfortunately. Every single media, their Sesame Street, if you ever look at their Sesame Street, you see what they teach. When you look at Mickey Mouse, you see what he teaches over there. They're taught and indoctrinated to hate. We are not them. We're the people of light. We're the people who are here to show light, to express light. We cannot take and be angry right now. We cannot be demonized. We cannot. We have our mission, and the mission is the same. Nothing changed. We are here to bring light. Tell you an amazing story, amazing story that happened. We spoke about this on Shabbat. there was a counter-terrorist unit who came into Gaza, into a mosque. They had received intelligence that this mosque was used to create bombs. And it was a storage for ammunition storage. So the Gazans, this unit walked in to the mosque. And what it is, all of a sudden, out of one of the rooms came a woman strapped with an entire bomb belt, holding the button. In this second, you only have 1 second to react, to respond. One of the soldiers, what did he say? What is it? The last second is, if God forbid it ever happens, we have to say Shema Yisrael. So he screamed, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. He was ready to get blown up. As soon as he said it, the woman didn't let go. She started crying. She said in Hebrew, I'm a Jew. We know, unfortunately, part of the tactics is that, unfortunately, that they get Israeli girls who are disconnected from Judaism, and they meet up on dating sites, and then they start meeting them, and then once they connected, they bring them back to Gaza, back to Ramla, back to... This girl fell in love with this guy. He brought her back to Gaza. He married her. They had 2 children. And he told her, if you dare try to get away from us, if you dare try to tell the children that they're Jewish, I'll murder all of you. You and your children. And after a little bit, she acclimated to it, and she started, she just got used to it. When she heard the Shema Yisrael, the Yiddish, the Pintele Yid, the inner essence, the core of every one of us, came out to the open. And she says, I'm a Jew. And she showed them where they were storing the ammunition and where the bomb, and they rescued her and her children. You see, even if a person is denied, we spoke about on Shmini Atzeret, under the rain. You remember this? We had a Farbrengen just like the good old days in Russia. We're standing outside. You remember this? Literally being soaked. Literally, the food, the lachaims, everything was like to the extent of, what do you say? The lux wasn't salty anymore. The rain washed the taste out of the fish. We were being soaked and we were singing. We were Farbrengen. This was, those kind of moments those are the moments that create whole realities. Those are moments of, remember this. On Simchat Torah, the day that this happened, Simchat Torah. What is Simchat Torah? We take a Torah, we don't open it up and learn it. We don't sit all night and study it. We take it as is, when the Torah is closed, with a belt around it and its mantle, its coat, and we hold it, we dance with it. The question is, Torah is wisdom. Torah is Hashem's will and wisdom. What is it to dance with the Torah? But the Rebbe explains that the Torah, there are 3 elements of the Torah. There's the parchment, there are the letters, and then there's a crown on the letters. Those of you who gave me mezuzot and we found out the crowns were missing. What are these crowns? It's very interesting. The Gemara tells us an amazing story. It says, when Moshe Rabbeinu came to retrieve the Torah from Hashem, he found Hashem tying crowns to the letters. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, God, what are these crowns? What do we need? What are you doing? I understand letters. What are you doing with these crowns? It says there'll be a generation where Akiva ben Yosef, there's going to be a Rabbi Akiva, and he'll learn mounds and mounds of laws from these crowns, from the kotzim. What's a crown? It means a crown. It also means a prickly. What is that called? A thorn. Gemara goes on, and there's a lot, but the gist of this. Rebbe tells, Moshe tells Hashem, if that's the case, I would like to go and see this Rabbi Akiva. So Moshe Rabbeinu was put into Rabbi Akiva's Beit Midrash, his study hall, and he listened to a class that Rabbi Akiva offered. And Moshe was besides himself. He didn't understand one halacha that Rabbi Akiva was explaining. Nothing. Even the students' questions and the answers, the debate back and forth, Moshe was like, I don't understand anything they're saying. This is so deep. Moshe Rabbeinu felt very, very discouraged. And he said to God, why don't you give the Torah through him? He seems like he's so much greater than me. And Hashem says, hold on, wait, just listen. And then one of the students asked Rabbi Akiva, how do you know this? It says, Allah Moshe Sinai. This was a tradition that was given to Moshe from Mount Sinai. And Moshe says, okay. Question, how did Moshe not know and Rabbi Akiva knows? The entire Torah was given to Moshe Rabbeinu. Not only that, the Talmud asserts that any novelty, any Torah novelty that a veteran scholar is going to innovate through any time of history was already given to Moshe in Sinai. How did Rabbi Akiva know them more than Moshe Rabbeinu then? How could he interpret the crowns that Moshe couldn't? The Rebbe says something so powerful. The Torah consists of three elements. The parchment, the pravda for truth. You see it does. The Torah consists of three elements. The parchment, the letters, and the crowns. Because there are three types of Jews. There's the Jews who are called letter Jews. What's a letter? Who knows? How do we say letter in Hebrew? What's the word for letter in Hebrew? Huh? Otiyot, ot. Where else do we know the word ot? Otot, miracles, signs, revelations. There are Jews who are considered letter Jews. You look at them and everything's revealed right through them. They're good, they keep the tradition, the mitzvot, the Shabbat, the kashrut, everything about it is perfect. Everything that they do is revealing. But then we have Jews who are crown Jews. What's a crown? It's not the letter. It's above that. It's connected to the letter, but it's on top. In other words, immediately you won't see it. You won't see it. But when something triggers this person, oh, do you see it? Like the Shema Yisrael. All of a sudden, I'm a Jew. Remember on Rosh Hashanah, we spoke about Eitan. You remember Eitan? Who was in Shul on Rosh Hashanah? Oh, you didn't. So some of you didn't hear about Eitan. Let us fill in the gaps. Rabbi Shabtai Slavetsky, the chief rabbi of Belgium, told this following story. What an amazing story. Wow. What a people we have, huh? What a people we are. Rabbi Shabtai Slavetsky said he's the chief shaliach, the head shaliach of Chabad in Belgium. And one day he's in the middle of giving a class, and somebody calls him outside. He says, somebody is waiting for you to speak to you outside. There's a couple who wants to speak to you. So Rabbi Slavetsky comes out, and he sees there's a couple there. One is an Israeli Jew, and another one is a I think Switzerland, but she's not Jewish. They're together. And the man introduced him. My name is Eitan. I'm from Israel, but I live with my girlfriend now Amsterdam, not Switzerland, Amsterdam. I live with my girlfriend in Amsterdam. And I wanted to know if it's possible to learn a little bit with you. He says, of course. You want to come to class? Of course. He says, and is it possible to maybe stay with you a few days? Do you have room? He says, yeah, we have rooms right in the Chabad house. Eitan says, I need to think about it. A little bit goes by, a while goes by, nothing from Eitan. He thought maybe he forgot. Then one day Eitan comes and says, Rabbi, I'm ready to learn. Eitan comes, and the rabbi personally learns with him. Several days in a row. Every day, few hours. But Rabbi Stavetitsky notices, no matter what he says, Eitan sits there, stoic, quiet, nothing, dead-faced, no excitement, no, I agree, I don't agree. He even tried to say some controversial things just to get elicit some sort of reaction from him. Nothing, quiet. Comes the third day. Eitan says to Rabbi Stavisky, could we talk? Could we walk somewhere? Could we go out and talk a little bit? He says, yeah. We go to the park. And he says, Rabbi, I've got to be honest with you. I'm very, very sorry. I have to apologize to you. He says, for what? He says, because I manipulated you. So, what do you mean you manipulated me? He says, let me tell you. My girlfriend and I traveled to India. We met a guru over there, and I fell in love with this guy. Wow, wisdom galore, spirituality flowing through his lips. I said, after a while of learning with him, I said to the guru, I need, give me a name. Because in order to be induced or whatever, beat into whatever it is, like into the gang, I don't know, you need a name. So I need a foreign name. The guru says, you said you come from Israel. Do you value your traditions? He says, actually I do. He says, do you love your people? He says, I do. He says, you're not ready then. So no, I'm ready. I promise you I'm ready. He says, well, if you want to get ready, what you have to do is you have to go and learn a little bit about your culture and see that it doesn't hold a candle to our truth, and then I'll accept you. So I had to find some rabbi to learn with, and it happens to be I found your Chabad house, and I came here for one reason only, to listen and to say I don't care. And that's why throughout the 3 days we learned, I didn't want to be impressed. But the more you talked, the more I just couldn't help it. I felt drawn and deeper, and I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry for manipulating you, but now I would like to learn for real. Could I stay here and learn with you? He says, of course. Eitan remained and started learning. He started putting on tefillin and started everything. And one day, nichnas lo juk barosh. Know what does it mean, nichnas lo juk barosh? Is there such a Russian or Persian saying? Nichnas lo juk barosh. A cockroach went into his head. In Yiddish, a worm is eating at his head. Comes how do you know you're doing good when all of a sudden you get a challenge to that goodness? All of a sudden, So what does he say? He says to Rabbi Stavisky, I want to go back to Amsterdam. I want to go back to my girlfriend. He says, why, Eitan, why? He says, because I'll be honest with you, I'm really, really into everything you're teaching. And I know this is all truth. But I'm not sure if this is just because the environment Because everybody's so nice to me. You come to Chabad, everyone wants to hug you, make a l'chaim with you, sit and learn with you. So I became really warmed up, but maybe I'm thinking all this is because of the environment, not because I actually want this. There's only one way to know. If you love something, you let it go. If it comes back to you, so I gotta let this go. And if it'll come back to me, it'll come back to me. Rabbi tried and tried and tried. No, you don't test God like this. You don't trust yourself like this. Don't put yourself in such a position. No matter what he tried to do, Eitan was not convinced. Eitan went back to Amsterdam. Lived with his girlfriend, went back to his meditating, the practices and everything. Went right back to where he started. The Cha'ura. One day Eitan is in the middle of, every morning you will meditate. We're not allowed to say yoga, but we can't call it because the word name yoga is actually a name of an idol, of idol practice. We're not allowed to say that. Yogi, if you could say that, I don't know, whatever it is. He was practicing his meditation in the morning, feeling inspired, feeling light, but all of a sudden, there streamed an intense desire to connect to God, out of nowhere. This is something he's never experienced before in meditation. A profound yearning to reconnect. And he's thinking to himself, what, out of nowhere, where is this coming from? Out of nowhere. And he comes to his girlfriend, where do I find, it must be a certain date, I'm not sure the date, he comes to his girlfriend, where can I find a Jewish calendar here? He says, well, there's one Jew somewhere down, there you go, maybe he has one. So Eitan comes to this Jew, who is completely, and he says, yeah, I have a calendar. The Federation sends me one every year. This is called the Kotz Jew. Some people's entire Judaism is I get a Jewish calendar. At least I know where the holidays are. I mean, that's something. You got to understand that's something. That's something. We can't discount that. We cannot discount that. Even those protesters, even the protesters there in Israel, who came to Yom Kippur and they were also celebrating Yom Kippur. This is the way. If you don't care, if you absolutely don't care, you don't come, you don't show up, you don't do anything. You just sit home and just. But if you care, you come and scream. When do you fight? When you care, the most dangerous when a couple is not when they're fighting. What's more dangerous than fighting? Silence, peace. I'm here, she's there. That's the peace we're talking about. That's dangerous. Those Jews who protested, no, they care. It bothers them that they don't see what they need to see. It bothers them. I posted this today. The Rebbe says, don't fight with these people. If they have arguments, you gotta let them cry to God. And Hashem needs to answer them. They've been through pain. We've been through a lot of trauma. And let Hashem answer them. But this Jew has a calendar. He gives them he says, here's the calendar. And he sees today's Rosh Hashanah. He says, Rosh Hashanah, I need to go to shul. I need to go to shul. So he comes to the train station. He says, I'm going to go back to Belgium. But then in that moment, he thinks to himself, wait, I remember learning in Hebrew school that you're not allowed to drive or enter a train on Rosh Hashanah, on Shabbat Yom Tov. You're not allowed to. But then he remembers he also learned Pikuach Nefesh, Dochet Kol Torah. That preserving a life, for the most part, defers all the rules of the Torah. Right now, he says, I feel a profound yearning to connect to God. I feel this life. I need to preserve this. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not sure if I wait until tomorrow to go to shul, if I'll still have this. This is Pikuach Nefesh. He gets in the train. As he gets to the Chabad house, Rabbi Shabtai Slavatinsky says, we're in the middle of davening in Amida when we say, let all creation know that you created it. Let all those who formed know that you formed it. Let those who have a neshama in their nose know that you are the king, Hashem Elokai Melech. And I thought to myself, this is what Rabbi says, Hashem, let Eitan know that you're alive, that you're there. Let Eitan know. And as he's saying it, there's a hand on his shoulder. He turns around. It's Eitan. They hug, and everybody in shul is like, what's happening? He hugs him, he kisses him. He's like, you can't imagine, like a long lost son comes back home. They hug and they talk. Eitan came back home. Eitan came back home. Interestingly enough, the name Eitan, Chassidus and Kabbalah explains, is an anagram of Chassidus explains that it's Eitan is the essence of the neshama. The essence of the neshama. The brute force that no matter what you subject the Jew to, no matter if he religious, not religious, this and this one point, the pintele yid, the core, the atom, the subatomic particle that can never be chas v'shalom disgraced or drowned or anything like that. It remains true and valiant at all times and on every condition. That moment it comes out. We, chas v'shalom, it's so easy to look at a Jew and judge them. But one of my favorite phrases, don't judge a Jew because he sins differently than you. Because, he doesn't keep Shabbat, but, and what about you? And what are you? And you are perfect. And you do everything. And you can stand with God and say, no, I'm perfect, but this one. As a matter of fact, that we spoke about before, God forbid, the Talmud says, when a person judges, even rightfully, someone else, his book is immediately open in front of Hashem. He's judged first. We cannot judge right now. We cannot, chas v'shalom, create discrepancies. There's no Persian. There's no Ashkenazi. There's no Sephardi. There's no Chabad. We're all Jews. That's the way the world looks at us. That's the way we need to look at ourselves. Let's make l'chaim. Now we can start the Farbrengen. David Melech Yisrael Chai Chai Vekayam. David Melech Yisrael Chai Chai Vekayam. David Melech Yisrael Chai Chai Vekayam. You know this nigga. Moshe, you know this nigga. Davinu Melech Yisrael Chai Chai Vekayam. David Melech Yisrael. Rabbi Mos. Chai Chai Vekayam. David Melech Yisrael. 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 Chai Chai Vekayam. We're alive. We're alive, Baruch Hashem. We're alive. We're alive. We're alive and well. We're not just existing, we're living. And until this moment, existence was a luxury, it's no longer a luxury. We can no longer just afford to occupy meaningless time and space. We have to live. Those of you, the Torah says, those of you who cleave unto Hashem are called alive today. We have to be alive. We have to endear the traditions that kept us sane and true and alive throughout all his history. The Rebbe asks, when you compare and contrast all the generations, what was the common denominator between every one of our generations until this moment? What was the one common denominator? Because we were in Spain, we were in Russia, we were in Syria, we were in Iraq, we were in Iran, we were in Israel, we were in America, we were everywhere in the world, Japan, in China, we were everywhere. What was the one common denominator? Huh? We were kicked out, yes. As a matter of fact, in 1948, I believe the statistics that we were kicked out of every country to the tune of at least once in 120 years. but more positive being kicked out. You know, the only reason we kicked out, I'm not kidding. Hasidus explains, and we learned this, I believe, today morning, that we are brought to a location in order to elevate the sparks. When we've elevated the sparks, then there's nothing else to do there. Then we're kicked out because there's nothing else to elevate there. Our souls are only brought to the place where there's sparks for us. We shouldn't get attached to the place, but rather we have to have the foresight of the mission. And every place has this way to elevate the sparks. But it's all through Torah and mitzvot. But what do we all have in common throughout 120? For all the years, since we became a nation 3,345 years ago, what did we all have in common? Every generation. Mendel, parenthetically, Mendel, when it came to in Haggadah, the nigun vehi sheyamda, vehi sheyamda. What does it mean? We say this every year, and it's set and it stands. Shebachol dovado, that every generation omdim aleinu, they stand upon us lachalateinu, in order to annihilate us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu miyadam, and Hashem saves us from their hand. And Mendel would say, V'hi sham, that it stands for us. It means it stands on every generation. And Mendel would, because in that moment, the custom is, when we say that verse, that stanza, it's the custom is to raise the cup of wine, to cover the matzah and raise a cup of wine. And Mendel said, V'hi she'amda, what protected us from all the generation is the l'chaim, that we sit together. Hine matovo manayim shavet achim gam yachad, we sit together and we say l'chaim. Why? We know that when we spoke about it, a Farbrengen can accomplish even more than the angel of Michael. Why? Because when we sit together in a spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood, Hine matovo manayim shavet achim gam yachad. So when does the father have the greatest nachat from his children and want to give his children more? When he sees that his children are sitting together and playing nicely. This inspires the father. This gives the father nachat. When the children, chas v'shalom, as if there's no brother, there's no father either, as we said before. So when we sit together like this, and we Farbrengen and we l'chaim, we can all give a bracha right now to Eretz Yisrael, that Hashem should protect Am Yisrael wherever we may be. And Eretz Asher Eine Hashem Elokecha Mireish Shana Ad Achishana. That the eyes upon the eyes of Hashem your God is upon the land from the beginning of the year until its end. This is the land of miracles. This is the land where Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov roamed. This is the land where Moshe desired to come into. Hashem will protect every single Jew, no question. And not only the Am Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael, but wherever we may be, that we're all one. So Hashem will protect every Jew, every one of us. But for this, we have to protect us. How do we protect? What's our vessel? Let go of anger. Let go of disconnect, of the barriers of keeping us apart. The Rebbe said that each generation has its Yetzer Hara. But before Mashiach comes, there's the biggest Yetzer Hara in the world. Because right before Mashiach will come, just like what happens to the flame of the candle right before it's about to extinguish. It starts seething back. Why? Because it knows it's about to extinguish. Our sages tell us before Mashiach will come, the Yetzer Hara will start seething because he knows that any second he's going to be extinguished. So he tries to do his worst. What's the worst of the Yetzer Hara in our generation? We know Mayor for president. It's time to get married, America.
We'll speak to our cousin. You gotta put in a good word for him.
We know that the 6 days of the 7 of creation, the Kabbalah explains, and Chassidus explains, that each day of the 7 of creation gave life to 1,000 years, so millennia. The first 1,000 years is from the first Sunday of creation. The second Sunday, the second 1,000 is from Monday. When is Sunday? Chesed. Sunday, each day of the week corresponds to an attribute. Sunday is Chesed, kindness, and that's why the first millennia, Hashem sustained the entire world through His benevolence. There was no one mitzvot, so Hashem sustained the world through His benevolence. The second Monday, what did Hashem do on Monday? Separate. Gvura, justice, separation. What happened second? The flood, the Tower of Babel. Third is harmony, Tiferet. And the Talmud says in Masechet Berachot, Ezeu Tiferet, Torah, what's Tiferet? Torah. Torah harmonizes between the heavens and the earth. So harmonizes between all the elements, the spiritual and the physical, the mental and the emotional, the soul and the body, every one of us. What was the third millennium? Hashem gave us the Torah. The age of Torah opened up. It was a harmony between heaven and earth. The first time, heaven and earth melded into one. Fourth, Netzach, perseverance and grit. This is the age of Genghis Khan and all the wars, and every nation tried to conquer the other one. Fifth is Hod, splendor, beauty, humility. What's the fifth? The Renaissance, the arts, the philosophies started sprouting out. Sciences started developing. The sages, the type of the Torah, magnificent, was started revealing through and through. 6 millennia. What's 6? Yesod. That's Friday. What is Yesod? Yesod is connection, foundation, to connect the heaven, to the top of the building, to the ground itself. Yesod is the attribute of connection. Friday connects all the days prior to Shabbat. On Friday, we know one thing. If you're living in a Jewish home, it's crazy day. It's crazy day. No matter who you are. I know people who don't even observe Shabbat, and yet Friday is a crazy day by them. Because they have to get this ready, and the husband's like, why can't you do this? And the wife's like, well, I'm doing it. And the children are... Why is Friday such a crazy day? So Kabbalah explains that, and we spoke about this many times, the more important something is, the more resistance there's going to be towards it. On Friday night, it's a mitzvah for the husband and the wife to be intimate. It's the ultimate combination, husband and wife, Kadosh Baruch Hu and Hashem. And because this is such an important connection, the Yetzer Hara wants to do everything and anything to create a discord between them, a separation between them. So he shows all kinds. Oh, you burned the tzaddik, if that's possible even. Like, in other words, everything that's small things that don't even matter all of a sudden become explosions. Like, why are you making such an explosion out of really nothing? What, is it really that important that you're willing to throw everything away? But it's a Yetzer Hara. He wants to amplify so much because he knows Shabbos is coming. The Yetzer Hara has no room in Shabbat, and he knows the intimacy of the husband and wife, which represents the intimacy between Hashem and us. So he tries to do everything to disconnect. We are now, when you look at the world's clock, we're now, right now, a Friday afternoon, after midday. The Rebbe explained in 1990 that according to the world's clock, millennium, we're already on Friday afternoon, midday. By midday, it's already halacha. You could already accept Shabbat. Morning, you're not allowed to accept Shabbat. Afternoon, once midday comes, you're allowed to accept Shabbat. We're already after midday, which means any second HaMashiach is coming. Because of this, the Yetzer Hara was to create the biggest interference. And where's the Yetzer Hara? Specifically in the Jewish home. In the homes. Not the Jewish, every home. To try to disconnect husbands and wives. Families, fathers and their children, mothers and their children. Just anything and everything to create a disconnection. This is the biggest Yetzer Hara of this generation. Discourse in our homes. Used to be, and I believe I told you, my grandfather, he taught me a Yiddish axiom that in Russia was very prevalent, in Poland was prevalent. It doesn't matter if it's cold outside or freezing, so long as the how do you say pechka in
stove.
it's
like wood burn.
The wood burn, as long as the fireplace. So long as the fireplace is boiling, is burning, and it's hot in the house, doesn't matter what's happening outside the house. Used to be that outside we knew what was outside, but inside we had what's called the Yiddish Heim, the old Jewish home, where values and the truths, and mom was mom and dad was. Remember Archie Bunker? I'm not going to say his right now. Used to be a time, Used to be a time. But today, the coldness, unfortunately, there are cracks that the Yetzer Hara made in the windows, in the walls, and allowed the coldness to come in. Because he knows he's being extinguished any second. He knows this. So he's trying to do everything, big stupid blow-ups for nothing. By the way, you know what's the difference between dumb and stupid? I've recently found this out. I'm not kidding. I just recently found this out. I didn't know this. Do you know the difference between dumb and stupid? Dumb is a physical impediment. Like in other words, a person's vessels are different. Stupid is the person is able to, but they themselves opt not to think and to. Stupid arguments. It shouldn't even be there. There's no reason. Why? You burned the Titanic? Come on, seriously. It's supposed to be burned, for God's sakes. Come on. The more burned, the better it is. Seriously, when you think about what are we fighting for over what, really? And the thing is, we don't realize that Satan is taking all the words and all the energy that we fight, and he charged up and gives it to them. That's how they became so emboldened. That's how they became strong. They have nothing over us. Literally, they have nothing over us. We're the chosen people. Not that, God forbid, we look down on them. Not that, Chas v'Shalom, we want any. No. But we are we're here. We transcended everything. How could this happen to us? Because he takes these words, and the more intense the word, the more intense the emotion, the more energy he's pulling out. And he's just literally siphoning energy. He's leaching energy, and it's embezzlement. He's giving it to them directly. That's how the klipa gets so strong. At this moment, we cannot, under any, and God forbid, any condition, any reason, chas v'shalom, speak words of disdain, speak words of anger, speak words of disconnect, not even if we think we're right. Because who cares if we're right if we're making our home feel wrong? Who cares? What did you gain out of it? They gained. Would you start, if somebody gives you, would you like to contribute to Hamas? Unfortunately, they ran out of bombs. Please have some mercy on them. They too need bombs and guns and ammunition. Please, would you ever consider? But this is exactly what happens if, God forbid, we use harsh words against each other. We're literally not harming. What's that called? We're arming. We're arming. In Hebrew, in Israeli, remember, Israelis don't have, for whatever reason, they don't have a hay. They come over here, Chabad house. Once, with Chabad Flatbush, the Israeli Bahrain come from Tishrei. They come for Israel for Tishrei to spend the month of, and they wanted to make a gathering for all the Israelis at Chabad house. They put a flyer. I kid you not, all over. It was a mailing. No, it wasn't the internet back then. A mailing. So it cost maybe $500. Come to Chabad house. Yeah, it's not. I thought you said army. It's army. Yeah. We can't arm them. We can't arm them. We can't arm them. We just can't. We can't. This is not the time. This is not the place. We can't. Not a single negative word right now. Nothing. Just have Mesiras Nefesh. Have self-sacrifice. Not to say a single negative word about anyone right now. You want to help. You're upset with someone. Shine the light and show them how to do things better. Show them how good they are. Show them how important they are. We had a class last night in the parenting class about how to raise children with self-esteem, and we said self-esteem is broken into two tiers. First, in intrinsic self-worth, and then personal competence. Intrinsic self-worth means, irregardless of what I did, do whatever it is, I'm important, I'm valuable. You know why? Because God created me. If I accomplish nothing in my life, the fact that God created me, that in itself is important, essentially important, undivisible. Then there's personal competence. If we want to induce self-worth and competence, speak up to people. Speak up to them. Raise them. Don't make him feel that they're any lesser than God's creation. Because it's as though, God forbid, somebody came to the Rebbe once and says, Rebbe, I have a very big issue that I hit my kids. I don't want to hit my kids. I feel bad after I do it. I scream at them. I scream at my wife. I feel bad. The Rebbe says, the next time you're about to Chaz v'Shalom, raise your hand. The next time you're about to scream at them on your wife, just tell yourself, these are children of God. These are prince and the princess. He's the son of the king and the daughter of the king. Would I dare in front of the king slap his child? Scream at his wife? God is literally everywhere. Would we, God forbid, in front of God scream and degrade another person? Chaz v'Shalom, heaven forfend. This is not the time. We have to have the light. We have to bring light. This is not a time for even the minutest amount of darkness, because who benefits? Only them. When we fight, only they benefit. Even if we think we're right, and after a while we know, I should have said this. Why did I say this? I lost my... this is not the time. We have to bring light. So the Rebbe says, what is the common denominator between all the generations? Torah. The one common denominator that we find between every generation is Torah. Torah mitzvot, our traditions. That's the one element that was present in every and any condition, every time. We have to endear the Torah. Right now, even if I'm not religious, who's asking to be religious? You're Jewish, right? Do you sympathize with Jews or not? Of course you do, because you're part of a macro body. Well, the body right now needs your effort the most. We know what happens, and I'm speaking from experience, what happens if you break a leg? If you fracture a leg, what do you do then?
The other leg becomes stronger.
That's it. I've noticed years ago that I tend to stand on only one leg. A lot of times, it's just automatic. So like I come in, I pick up one leg, I just stand there, and at first I didn't even pay attention. And then I started noticing it. It's like, why? Because when I was 10 years old, I fractured my leg in 3 different places. And then later on, another time I cracked my leg, and another time I burned my leg, and so I learned how to stand on one foot in order to support my entire body. But then I thought, what did I learn from this? When one part becomes weaker, every other part needs to become stronger. This is incumbent upon us. We've lost over 1,000 Jews. We don't understand why. Let God explain himself. The Rebbe often says, we don't have to justify the Holocaust. We don't have to justify God in the Holocaust. We don't have to be God's advocates. Let God explain himself well. And we deserve it. But after the Holocaust, the UJA made a campaign on Pesach. To every single Pesach Seder should have an empty chair as remembrance for one of our brothers and sisters who were murdered in the Holocaust. And this got great traction all over. Until it came to the Rebbe. When it came to the Rebbe says, what? An empty chair? How is that going to satisfy the fact that we lost a neshama, a person in this world? Just the opposite. What we need to do is bring an extra chair, or 2, or 5, or 10, and fill them up with people who won't come otherwise. That's the only way. You have to, when one is down, you have to bring 2. When somebody, Chaz v'Shalom, and the Rebbe spoke to, God forbid, a person whose brother passed away. He passed away very young, Lo Aleinu. And the Rebbe told him, now you have to live for both of you. You have to put the tefillin for both of you, give tzedakah for the both of you, because now the only way that he could have the mitzvah is through you. We lost over 1,000. Which means even until this moment, we didn't come to shul. We didn't light Shabbat candles. We didn't keep Shabbat. We didn't keep kosher. Okay, that's until this moment. You know what? We all are very aware that circumstances changed greatly in the course of the last 2 weeks. That is not the same world that we woke up to 2 weeks ago. And I'm not just saying what happened 2 weeks ago, or what just happened 2 hours ago. Literally what's happening right now in Jordan. The world is ablaze right now. What Iran came yesterday and proclaimed, Chaz v'Shalom. We should not be at all fazed by any of this. You know, when Haman went, after he made the decree, he wanted to know if he's going to be successful or not. And there is a tradition, if you want to know, if you have a question and you don't have an answer, you could ask a child what he learned in yeshiva that day, and whatever he says, that's a message from Hashem. Haman walked around and asked one child, what did you learn today? What pasuk did you learn today? Utsu eitza v'tufar dabo v'lo yakum ki manukel. You enemies, you could plot all you want, you could strategize all you want, but it will not, Chaz v'Shalom, come to fruition because God is with us. Then he comes to another. What did you learn? He comes, he hears again from another child. I bore you, I hold you. God says, I'll be with you forever, etc. Right now, the enemies are counting on us, and we're only counting on us being disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from our tradition. But all they manage to do is ignite us, strengthen us, embolden us. I heard this a week ago. I read this on Facebook, on Rabbi Facebook, a week ago. A woman, it's an anecdote, I'm not sure how to put it one way or another, but there's everything we hear and see, there's a lesson. A woman went through some crisis. Her father takes her aside and says, I want you to boil an egg, a potato, and an onion. Huh? Olivia salad, that's right. They go to Farbrengen. He says, listen, you have trouble in your eye, come to Farbrengen. You want to cry, you cry at the Farbrengen table. You want to laugh, you're for Farbrengen table. And she said, I want you to boil all three together. She boiled all three. And what happens? The egg becomes hardened. The potato becomes solid. But the onions become soft and sweet. It says in life, when you start getting boiled, when the heat starts, when troubles, when we perceive, you have two choices. You have one of three choices. You could be like an egg, starting off very soft and then becoming hard. Or potatoes just like this. Or you could take that, I don't know, spiciness, tardiness, the bitterness, and let that sweeten you. And sweeten. This is not a moment, Chas v'Shalom, to become embittered. 8, what the Torah says? 8, it's a dire straight time for Yaakov, and from it he will be redeemed. He'll have salvation. We spoke about this, but before we go on L'chaim. L'chaim Doctor. L'chaim Bracha. L'chaim Doctor. Much success and transformation.
I join you, but someone rather stupid put shells in my cup.
Well,
I wonder who that could be.
These are what L'chaim.
Rabbi, here's to your son.
Here's to all of our sons, all of our daughters, all of our children, wherever they may be.
So
Rabbi Mos. L'chaim, much success in getting married. Much success, ABC. You know what ABC means? Always be a chassid, always be celebrating, and always be closing. Much success in getting married. Much success from Israel, Yehuda Israel. No more Lucas, no more.
Yehuda Israel.
And Baruch Hashem, I'm not saying this facetiously. If Mahmoud could be Mahmoud and proud to be Mahmoud, and he should be, because that's exactly how Hashem created him. If Shaniqua could be proud to be Shaniqua, and Baruch Hashem, she should be. No, she should. I kid you not. She should be proud because that's how Hashem created her. She should be proud. Baruch Hashem, I'm not kidding.
Word.
Why can Yehuda Yisrael? Why can Osher? Why can Moshe? Why can we be proud and stand up? I don't have to go by Persian name. I go by my root, who I am. Why do I have to hide behind some sort of defense mechanism? Because somebody might judge me. Philip, your name is not Philip. Stop lying. What's your name? Natan. It's time. You know what Natan means? Hashem gave. Hashem is giving. Hashem is giving. You. That's your mazal. Connect. Go by your name. Don't go by some. Who's king of Britain? What are we talking about here?
That's my parents.
Chaim.
And Martin Luther was an anti-Semite.
We have to go by Merkala. Mer means the one who illuminates. You want to illuminate? You have to go by your name.
I don't know. Mayor Weinstein says I'm selling conditions on East Houston Street. I don't know.
Or pickles.
Or pickles.
Either way, you come out a winner.
Would you like a nice piece of fish?
A fish?
A little fish, a piece.
Merkala, you are truly a source of light. I see what you do. Baruch Hashem.
Because of you.
It's not because of me, because of you. Because of who you.
Oh, you make me blush.
Because who you. And Merkala. Go by your name.
Merkala, wasn't she in Germany or something?
America. You have to go by who you are. You have to go by who you are. You have to go by who you are. Merkala, you have to endear yourself.
All right, May is good. I'll stick a May. Oh, yeah, bro.
Where were we? What were you saying right before the Chaim? The artist formula knows of Philip. Where were we before the Chaim? Where were we? Huh? That's it. We cannot allow this turbulence to Chas v'Shalom rock our world, other than the positive. We cannot, God forbid, allow the darkness to set the tone in our light. The Torah says it is not straight time for Yaakov, and from it he will be redeemed. We spoke about this before. The Rebbe in 1953, Yud Beit Tammuz, asked a very, very powerful question. The Torah testifies, the Zohar says, Leis atapanu minei, there's no place devoid of God. Literally, God is literally everywhere and anywhere. That's an understatement. If that's the case, and not only he is found everywhere, but everything is divine providence. Everything happens for a reason. Out of Hashem's benevolence. If that's the case, how do we reconcile? This is 1953. This wasn't too long after, God forbid, the Holocaust. The Rebbe asks, then if God is literally everywhere, and His presence manifests in everything, and in all times, how can there be evil in the world? So the Rebbe used an advent of those times, a technological advent, a typewriter. But back then, the first editing features came out as well. It's not like our editing features, but nevertheless, editing features. The Rebbe says, and listen to how amazing this is. This is how we have to look at our lives. And especially right now. If you hear an amazing nigun, you know what a nigun is? A melody, a heartfelt Hasidic melody. Those of you who came to Farbrengen's heard Farbrengen's, like the nigunim, or like take you to another place altogether. Like literally just take you to another place altogether. Or let's just say, if you haven't heard nigunim yet, if you heard a good song, I don't know what's a good song, if there's such a thing anymore, like, or if there ever been such a thing. But then you hear someone in the middle of the table, someone like me, for example, who has, crow's voice, when sings the nigun, it's like, oh, like a cat's being like shut like this. You hear somebody singing a nigun, and all of a sudden, like so off beat, or off key, and like I can't listen to this. I can't. This is. Why? What's the problem? What's the problem? Why can't you listen to this? You know why? Because you know the original song. You know the original nigun. You know it. And in contrast to this doesn't match at all. What makes a good book versus a bad book a bad book?
The amount of cells.
Well, same letters. It's not like a good book has different letters. Does it have different words? The words are the same. The sequence of the words. The sequence of the notes makes a beautiful symphony in contrast to, I can't listen to this. It's the sequence. There's a certain layout of the letters, of the notes, that makes something magnificent versus something I cannot stand at all. And the Rebbe says as follows. While Hashem is the writer, the author, we are the chief editors. We are here to edit. What is the function of an editor for a book? What's the function of an editor? Anybody knows the literacy?
Put in sequence, no?
Huh?
Put things in sequence.
But the author already put it in sequence.
Refine it.
To
Refine
refine it, because although it came out of the author's mind, and in the author's mind this makes complete sense, the reader might not be able to connect it, although it's true, although it's amazing, and so on and so forth. But the reader, because he or she lacks the background, the foreground, the understanding, it might not connect to it. So the editor puts it edits the words, put in different sequence, and so on and so forth, in order for the message to be the same. But just the externalities have to just... The Rebbe says, yes, Hashem is the author of this world, but we are the editors. Which means it's our job to take the situations when we see it. Baruch Sha'amar V'Haya Olam, as we started the entire Farbrengen today, Shahakol Niyah B'Dvar, that everything comes into being through God's words. We are here to take those words and to put them in a way that every person connects to. Then the Rebbe goes on to something truly magnificent. We said, it's a dire straight time for Yaakov, it's a dire straight time for Jewish people, and from it will be saved. The Rebbe says as follows: take the three letters, Sarah. What's the word Sarah? Maza milat Sarah. What does this word Sarah mean? Suffering, dire straits, pain, constriction. That's how the author's mind. That's the signal for the author's mind. How do we know? Because what is the function of speech? Davido, what's the function of speech?
To articulate.
Articulate what?
Thoughts, feelings.
That's it. If Hashem Baruch Sha'amar V'Haya Olam, blessed he who says and the world comes to being, Shahakol Niyah B'Dvar, that everything is coming to being through his words, means Hashem is expressing something he's thinking or he's feeling. That's the author. But the recipients, the world, the readers, they might not be able to understand this. What is our job? To edit. Says the Rabbi as follows: the word Sarah, dire straits, pain, suffering, constrictions. Tzadik Reishei. If we edit the letters, just a drop, we could have a word that appears in this week's parsha yesterday. Tzohar Asalateva. Noach made a tzohar, tzadik hey reish. What's tzohar? Rashi says two explanations. One is a window, or one is a magnificent bright stone that shines light. Either way, you take the word tzara and you edit it, and you write the word tzohar. You take the same situation, the dire straits, and instead of complaining about it, instead of screaming about it, instead of pushing, instead of getting angry about it, instead of that, hold on. The author of the book gave me this. I need to edit it. I can't complain about it. I can't turn away from this. I have to do something about it. First and foremost, I have to find the window of opportunity. What's the window here? If Hashem, the author, gave it to me out of his benevolence, there has to be a window of opportunity here. And when we start thinking along these lines, then we transform the word once again. Reish Tzadik Hey Ratzah, will. Then you come to fully understand what did God want in this situation. Why did he give this in the first place? Instead of complaining, instead of screaming, God, why? What did the Rebbe says? Jews don't. What did the Rebbe say to Israel Me'elah? We said before, Jews don't ask what's going to be. Jews said, what do I do? Al tikra lama ela lama. Esther, right? Kayli lama zeftani. By God, why'd you leave me? Shimshon Raphael says, Al tikra lama ela lama. Don't say they said. She said, for why'd you leave me? But for what? What's the difference between why and for what? Why my victim? Why God? Why me? Why this? Why that? And what's the difference between a victim and someone who went through something? Could be the same situation, the same abuse, the same this and the same this. But what's the difference between a victim and someone who went through something? The victim is permanently stained and is paralyzed by this question. Why me? I was good, my life was good, everything was good until this moment. And then this happened, and everything's now discombobulated. Why, God, why? The problem is, it's God you're talking to. There could be a trillion answers, and you won't get even one. To ask why is a victim question. What for? What do I do about this now that this happened? What's the opportunity here? How do I grow? How do I make the situation grow now that this happened? I was once speaking in Atria on Great Neck Road. I was speaking about human suffering. And a woman, and her picture is actually on my Facebook, Mushki is holding her. She has the numbers on her arm. She was a Holocaust survivor. Very dear woman. Very dear woman. In the middle of the speech about suffering, she says, Rabbi, all nice and good, but tell me why. I say, why what? She says, Rabbi, tell me why I ripped apart from my mother and I never saw her again. Why I was ripped apart from my sister, my brother, and I never saw them again. Why I watched my father being shot in front of me when we got off the train. Why. Not just me, Rabbi, everyone I knew. She asked me in front of the entire population. You know, what do you do when you have really not to the answer? The Rebbe gave the Remendel Futterfass an amazing blessing. You should say the right things to the right people at the right time in the right manner. And I learned from that. Anytime I go to a class, including tonight, anytime I ask Hashem, give me a bracha to say the right things to the right people at the right time in the right manner. So in that moment when she asked me, this is a woman here in her 90s, watch her father getting shot in front of her. She was ripped apart from her mother and her sister and her brother. Went through the Holocaust. It's a woman who's maybe 3 times my age at that point. Who am I? She's asking me why this happened. Who am I to answer? But I'm put on a spot, and she really means it. And she deserves an answer. But what is a pisher like me going to say to her? So I asked her bracha. Hashem give me a bracha to say the right thing, the right people, the right time, the right manner. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, and I spewed it out. And the moment I spewed it out, I was like, I'm so chutzpahdik. I said, and what if I could tell you why? What if I could tell you why and satisfy the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the physical, the metaphysical reasons of why you had to watch your parents get murdered and why all your community was murdered and your friends were. What if I could tell you and give you an answer that's going to satisfy every aspect, every tier of this why? Would that satisfy you? As soon as I said it, I didn't even think about saying it. It just came and I blurted it out. And I can't believe I just said this to a Holocaust survivor. She paused, and at first I thought she was like a little bit taken. I thought like she was like, I can't believe you just said this to me. But after a few seconds, she said, "You know what? No. even if you could give me every and any answer to why we were murdered so savagely, why we were abused so savagely, barbarically, is not even a word, that wouldn't satisfy me. Because I said, okay, so if I tell you, would you feel better about it? Oh, yeah, I get it, why my father had to be shot. Yeah, now you explain it to me mentally, spiritually, emotionally, metaphysically. Yeah, it makes sense. Now I'm content, I could move on with my life. She says, absolutely not. I can't. Nothing will justify that. And I said, you're right, nothing will justify that. But there again, you're not looking for why. You're looking for what for. What do I do about it now that this has happened? It happened, I can't deny it. What's a victim? A victim is someone who's paralyzed by that one moment, that one incident, or the multiple incidents, whatever it is. But they're paralyzed in time and space. They can't grow beyond it. They can't move beyond this. Because the why. Why? Go ask God. And which of his answers will answer you? And how does that satisfy you? No one's looking for why. What for? At this point of time, we don't ask why. We ask what for. And Baruch Hashem, more and more I see, we are for the first time collectively, all of us together asking what for. And everyone is taking upon more mitzvot, more Torah, more tzedakah. Over the course of last week, we had I can't say me, it's more my wife had the ability to bring a few $10,000, $15,000 to Israel for different things. I'm just a drop of a drop of a drop. What's been happening in our community, in every community. The banding together, the endearing of Torah mitzvot, the coming together, Democrat, Republican, for all of a sudden we lost those posterior, whatever it is, exterior posteriors. We've lost that, Baruch Hashem. For the first time in a long time, we recognize, hey, we're Am Yisrael and we're Chai, because they want the opposite, but nothing they want matters. That's the what for. If we haven't yet lit Shabbat candles consistently, we have to do this. If we haven't kept Shabbat, try an hour, try 2 hours, 3 hours, no phones, nothing, just 3 hours. I'm dedicating this to a soldier. I'm dedicating these hours to a soldier. I'm dedicating to a citizen. I'm dedicating this to someone who, God forbid, was kidnapped and returned and now they have trauma, and I'm dedicating this that Hashem will heal them. A Jew is never stuck. I haven't put on tefillin every single day, but from now on, I'm taking it upon myself to put on tefillin. I had one of my first best friends. His name is Dimitri.
No, what's his real name?
Dimitri. Oh, I don't know. You know what? He was my friend when I was being bullied. I was like, when I was like being, today is like all this stupidity. But when I was the nerd of the school, of the high school, of the elementary school and the middle school, I was being beaten up every day. I had one good friend. His name is Dimitri. Dimitri now lives in Sheepshead Bay.
My school.
Oh, I'm sorry. He lives in by the end of Sheepshead Bay. We went to Shellbank together, and that's where I met Dimitri in Shellbank, where Rabbi Meir over here, everybody, Rabbi Meir over here
I never suspended him.
Was the superintendent while I was there.
Oh, thank you for putting me on the spot. Greatly appreciated.
You're welcome. He was the superintendent when I was there. How the world is small.
And I let him graduate.
Oh no! I had to forge. Listen, my parents literally. I had to. It was a whole entire operation to remove the grades from the report card and put, instead of all solid Fs. It's one that I was an artist when it came to making an F and A. You should know that. I had a solid A report card. Literally. And he texted me the other day and says, I want tefillin for me and my son. people texting me, mezuzah, this is amazing. People who you never think. Like that's all these enemies of ours manage to do. They will never Chas v'Shalom defeat us. They'll never stymie us. They'll never suppress us. Am Yisrael Chai. We have a piece of infinity. A chelek elokam imam mamish. We have a piece of God within ourselves. Infinity, you could subtract by 1 billion, whatever it remains infinity all times. All they manage to do is wake us up, Baruch Hashem. But we shouldn't allow this to remain. Sometimes things happen. This crisis season. Okay, we're going to be better. We're going to this and this, and then we go back into our routines and back into our old way of thinking. The way crisis is over. When's the husband the best husband? When's the best husband? When's the husband the best? After a fight. Comes in the car with compliments. He's softer. I'll help around the house. I'll do this. I'll do that. Oh, I'll do anything for you to forgive me. And then a month goes by and he goes right back. You remember the honeymooners? Every single, one of these days, pow, right to the kiss. At the end of the Ralph Cram is like, honey, you're the greatest. You remember? There's always these two things, right? But this is the cycle. This is the cycle. I'm going to be better, I'm going to be better, I'm going to be better. And I am better for a week. Not this time. No more, what's that called? No more half measures. There's no more room to go back to what was previously. Make it a chai. Rabbi Meir, have no fear, Mashiach is already here.
Oh, you're pro. Thank you, everyone.
Cham, cham, cham. Rebbetzin, before you go, excuse me.
Why am I the one caught in the end?
Because I know you since you were practically a baby.
Yeah.
Right? What are you adding right now?
I don't know. I've been doing something new every day. And
That's beautiful. That's truly remarkable. Because the Rebbe did say if we add every day one good thought, one good word, one good deed, every day, will illuminate the world. So that's beautiful. But what's now?
I don't know. My goal for tomorrow is the same with Aaron, so that was tomorrow's thing.
Okay, beautiful. That's amazing. Thank God for waking you up. But at the same time, help someone else that might not be so thrilled to be alive. If you see that somebody's down, help them say Modani. Help them connect to that, the Baruch Hashem in life. Whichever way, doesn't it? Verbally, whatever it is. Do you give tzedakah every morning?
No.
You have a tzedakah box in your house? In your room, do you have a tzedakah box?
No.
Could I give you a tzedakah box tomorrow?
Sure.
Put it in your room. And every morning, and especially before you light Shabbat candles, give a few cents of tzedakah. Literally, just a cent or two. And say, Hashem, please be Mashiach. Please make everybody healthy. Please heal the world. I'm giving tzedakah. In other words, I'm giving to someone who doesn't have. Please, you, measure for measure, you give the world what we don't have, which is harmony, which is magnificence that you promise us. Shabbat candles you light?
Every Friday.
That's it. Could you get at least one more person to do this week? At least one. And have a give tzedakah as well before. Okay?
Sounds good.
You are a Jewish hero. You are a Jewish hero. That's it. We're Am Yisrael Chai because of this. Because of this. Because of Yisrael, Yehuda Yisrael. This is why we're alive. I believe the children of the future. In all reality, this is what. Rabbi Moss, excuse me. Excuse me. Don't think you are so free over here. Come over here. Come. Have a seat. I see you're tired. Come, Rabbi Moss. There's nothing for bringing down. Come on, Rabbi Moss. Come on. Rabbi Moss, come on.
Rabbi, you're losing another.
Come here, Rabbi Moss. Our Farbrengen only begins when the external comes out. Rabbi Moss, what are we adding?
Oh God.
I want to delete all of my social media.
Why?
It's horrible. I hate it.
Instead of deleting it, do you have the strength?
It's obsessive.
You have the strength to share only Torah things to you. Because
Share what?
Torah,
On
spirituality. Yeah.
I don't put anything on.
That's what I'm saying. If it's not to suppress, transform. Use it positively. If Hashem allowed this, everything that the Mishnah says, everything that Hashem created in the world, He created only for His glory, including the media. Now, if you see that it's a dead weight for you in this, you can't escape it, there's no question about it. But if it's sort of neutral, it's just like, I could do without it. Why not utilize it to spread? Think about yourself for the next month. Every day I'm sharing a message of positive, a message of Torah, a message of utilize it.
Because I don't want to be embarrassed.
Not embarrassed of what? Of truth?
I don't want to stand out.
No. See, they're not embarrassed. They're putting their wicked videos online. They're not afraid to put it. We have to come out and fight it with light. Find acts of goodness and kindness, random acts of goodness, what people are doing for each other. Messages of truth, messages of videos, share Torah classes. Don't need to delete. There are these ways not to delete, to break. Tzedakah you're giving? A tenth. You said you're going to help a Jewish student.
A Jewish student? How?
To come from public school.
Okay.
I need your help with this.
To not go to a public school.
To bring you from public school.
Okay.
I raise money to take kids from public school and bring to yeshiva for their tuition. If they can afford it, the parents can afford it. You going to help?
Oh, well. Thank you, Rabbi.
Come here. And
I need it tonight.
You can't feel it. You're not feeling it. Feel it. You're in a town.
Thank you. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Merkala, come sit over here for a second. Come here, Merkala.
Something very strange has happened. I'm manifesting all this on
It's good.
I went to the high school, there was a rally, I went to the principal of my wife, my director of security. They put me in front of the high school manning security. I will be. Something very strange.
The sheikh is coming. What are you adding from tomorrow morning? What are you adding? You have to add something. You can't get yourself out of a mindset with the same. You can't get yourself. Oh yeah. They are. You can't get yourself out of the level with the same mindset that you are. What's going to be different? Children you put out every morning?
You know, I'm at the same
This I know. Can you find at least in a...
But I brought my phone because I'm having, it's brand new. Someone got an app, you know. I'm having trouble taking it. I don't think they connect the power.
I'll look at it.
Can I bring it in or a little late?
Of course, I'm going to... But you have to add something.
Let's say
What? What? I didn't say that. But what are you doing? Because your position is really for Thank you very much, honey. That's selfless. No, just the opposite. understand how great you are, how strong you are. Instead of asking what's wrong with me, ask what's strong with me. And you bring this message to everyone. You have contact with kids that are not Jewish. I kid you not, it's crazy, but teach them the 7 mitzvot of Noah. The Rebbe says that the people who that the laws of 7 mitzvot of Noah come from the Mashiach and the Rambam, because God is not just for the no. God is not just for the Jews. God is for everyone. If you teach these kids, I see how connected you are to these kids.
I need to show you something. Let me. You know I have ADHD like you. Just give me a second. Bear with me. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Gang members.
And you're teaching the 7 mitzvot
In my own way. Look. Palestinian girl.
I see what you do. I'm a big fan of yours. I know that you have connection with people I can never connect to. This is your shlichut, that's what Hashem's giving you. This is your mission in life. Bringing the 7 mitzvot of the Lord. I promise you, thank you. The world is craving right now. It says every non-Jew, God gave Noah, when he came out of the ark, God gave 6 to Adam and the 7 to Noah. Don't idol worship, don't speak blasphemy, don't murder, don't steal, don't commit adultery, don't be cruel to animals, and have a just court system. Just. All these people, everybody protests, the BLM, what are they protesting? That we don't have a just court system. The Me Too, that there's immorality. The world is craving, and we are supposed to be the light. Be the light. Your name is Mayor, the one who brings light.
The pathway. I'm bringing you my diphthong.
Bring. Are we ready to continue with the Farbrengen? Sing it, Yeah.
By the way, you see my dad's initials? BH? But it's here. No, this is the problem.
Johnny, we need to get together. I know every other issue. You have other people in your office? Could we have a lunch and learn?
I have a few people. I don't have a large office.
No, could we have a lunch and learn?
Yeah,
With your people in your office?
invite them. They're not Jewish. You have to invite
It doesn't
them.
matter, Jewish guys.
I'll invite some guests. Let me know when you're coming. I'll tell people to come.
Thursday.
Thursday, what time?
Lunch, I don't know. What time do you do?
But I will, and I will get back to you. And I just tagged you on a post on
When I
Facebook.
put on my arm, I go after you reach them, it's not tight in here.
Oh,
Please send my regards to him. Okay. Oh, you want to come? I want
this card I already know, and I know who you live, I know where you
no,
are.
but I need to make a point. I need to know.
Oh, I need to make an appointment. I'm sorry, could you pencil me in, please? Have your people speak to my people over lunch.
I will get in touch with my mom. I would love to have you in my office.
Sorry.
Are you Sephardic?
Oh, come on.
No,
When I tighten it, I have no
this is a
muscle.
Sephardic bond. No, you have to change this.
Okay, never mind.
No, you have to change it. You have to change it.
He got it right
Oh,
anyway,
this is
and
a
that's
Sephardic
why.
bond. Oh, yeah. This is
The Band-Aid.
very
I
different.
can't
This
tighten
is
it. I can't tighten it.
No, it's a completely different knot. Completely. Okay, excuse me, Emerson. I call you Janet. What's your real
So
name?
I heard that I heard that discussion. So I was named after my grandmother, Nina.
Nina.
So Penina and
Nina.
I mean Nina is my middle name. That's why I use it. But Penina is Hebrew.
Nina, the pearl.
Yes.
The pearl of the Shem.
But
You know when you find pearls?
Someone was telling her.
Irritation. You have to go so deep into and find something that was so irritating. This is who you are. This is who you are. You have to have it changed immediately. You have to have it immediately.
That's why I'm bringing the future.
This is one. You have to have it changed. I can take it from you. Come tomorrow. Where are you going to be tomorrow? Tonight?
And then I have to come back tomorrow.
Okay, then come to let's go tomorrow. Thursday. Yeah. When are you going to bring this?
So upset about it.
Sometime tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, call me and I'll put on my phone.
That's what happened. I'm making a YouTube. I thought it's because I'm paint it
No,
like
no,
this,
no.
it's not.
There's a way to do this, but it's completely different for you. It's not the same.
Thank you.
Like two girls with Charlene.
It's so funny since I posted your son on my Facebook page. You say, Marty, I thought you had two daughters. Who's the boy? He's good looking. He's related to Rabbi Osha.
The last time I go, his friend was murdered. So one of his friends from the army was killed in
Thank you so much. I knew it wasn't the fact that I had a muscle.
Whatever, and like, she like went through like a whole thing.
We're going to change the names and give it back to you.
And like,
No, I'm saying
sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm not taking anybody.
How, did you go to the thing after?
So what time are you going to be going tomorrow?
I don't mind. I have to go back home tonight to Jersey sometime in the afternoon. You let me know what's best.
Okay, just say that.
What time are you in the shul?
No, sure, I'm going to be, but after sure, because I'm going to be looking at the school, but what time, you tell me what time you're going to be, and I'll make sure.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. You are.
They're sold out. The shirts
What up, Mensch?
Are we gonna be related?
Yeah.
This small?
That's it. It has been a while. We miss you. We miss you. We miss you. We miss you.
Just waiting for the inner to match up.
I don't think you.
Who's this episode over here?
I was in the service
my name is Desiree.
showed up.
No. Stop lying. Stop lying. Desiree to Malka? Malka's like the Shekhinah.
I had a feeling you would say that.
You have a feeling? No, you're the Shama noses.
What's left?
Malka, where were you from, Malka?
I see book bags.
I saw
What's your last name?
Stay.
Hashizan.
We were sure there was. And
Made
sure
sense
enough,
tonight?
they said,
Made
oh,
sense
Mr.
tonight?
Weinstein? They thought I worked. They
What are we going to do
book
about
bag.
it?
Mazi passed with Scott. I said, I have to wait for every kid to leave. Don't bail out. That's the weakness of security. And when they left, I locked the gates.
I have to do something. Something has to be new.
And then I see a sweatshirt. What happened? I waited 10
What is something that you know that you have
No, but
to do?
usually if it's there, they forget it.
Or something you got to work
Just
on?
run back for it.
Oh, they
Particularly a
did?
book bag.
I mean, I have to work on a lot of things.
One. Start with one. Start with
I
one
have to go
thing.
to Old Westbury. I'm trying to get. She has
The
a
more
friend,
foundational, the more
Ladon's
the more priority.
doing backgammon. He probably is coming over. Why don't you spend some time? I don't.
Sure, I don't know where to begin.
I gotta get money out of this guy. Yeah, so nice seeing you ladies.
I've been trying to listen to more shiurim, but I don't know if that's. I haven't been so good with saying Shema and maybe I should start doing that more often. It's always helpful.
Shema in the morning, you say?
I tried to say one tefillah a day, so either shacharit or mincha.
Don't tell me you're not in the group chat, the school's group chat.
Modani, you say?
Every morning.
Washing your hands in the morning, you do?
Wait, 9. Okay, no, okay, forget it. So 9, yes.
Lucas is a junior.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you get
Yes, he's very senior.
by this time next week?
He's very senior.
Okay, so I posted it also in the
Seven.
9th grade. Okay.
Oh, I don't have a ninth grade. I don't have
When
a ninth
Hogan
grade.
hits, they
You help them illuminate, and Hashem Mida
one for an
Mida will
entire
illuminate
middle
what you
school,
need.
and then one for 6, 7, 8. One for an
Not sure if
entire
I
high
know 7
school,
women who don't.
and then every year they just
You do.
update the. Are you
Or if you
kidding
don't,
me?
go find them.
Nobody ever told.
It'll be to very interesting, very interesting
For the 11th grade one?
places.
I get filled in, he tells me what's going on, but up in my head, I don't know.
You know, it says Noach was a tzaddik in his generation,
I said junior.
right? That's what the pasuk says.
Oh my God, what am I
But
saying? Okay.
Yeah.
and Rashi comments says in his generation, but if it was compared to Abraham's, one of the explanations wasn't mean. While Noach remained strong compared to everyone around him, Abraham didn't just remain strong. He went and taught and transformed.
Lucas's speech, I have the other.
We are not from Noach. That's why that's why Noach is not one of our forefathers. That's the reason.
The only one.
You think if it's such a timing that Hashem decides that He's going to save all of humanity, every human being for the resurrection from this human being, why is he not one of our forefathers? Because yes, he was a
They were
tzaddik.
not my kids.
but it was a conflict generation. But he didn't go out to try to work. God says, I'm going to flood the world because they're all evil. Noach didn't come to God and says, listen, God, give me 120 years. I'm going to go try to save more people. He spent 120 years building an ark to save himself and his family. That's one explanation. We can't be what's called a tzaddik impelled. You know, if you're cold, there's two ways to deal with a cold. Either you put a nice fur coat on, a nice warm coat, and now you're warm, you're protecting the elements.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Or another way is to start a little fire and have everybody go around. Noach was a tzaddik in a nice fur coat. He warmed himself to make sure it's cold outside. Our job is to warm up the world. Find 7 girls.
He's an elected official. But he took this
Only spoon girls.
I don't know why. And he was
I don't like candles myself. And my mother likes it.
1974. Vav Tishrei, the Rebbe came out. The first campaign the Rebbe said to save the Jewish people was the Tefillin campaign. This is the 1967 and the 61. The second campaign was Neshek, Mayor Shabbat Kurdish. The Rebbe says, even though until recent times it was only the minhag of, but right now the world is seething, darkness is trying to prevail, and there's only one way, light. And who's giving the key to light is a woman. The feminine soul is exponentially higher than the masculine soul. You're so much more like Ein Sof, like God, than we are. You're able to bring light, you're able to give birth, to perpetuate. You are able to bring and transform this world. According to Kabbalah, the only reason that a woman comes down into this world, the feminine soul comes just to help to transform. We need all these mitzvot. We need to remind us of God. We need to keep out to remind us of God. We need to see to remind us of mitzvot. We need constant pneumatic devices. You have it built in. You're so much higher than us. That's why you don't have these mitzvot that we have. We need it. We done from a siddur. What siddur said that we have to start here and go from more down and go come louder. You have it built in. You don't even need it. Find a woman who doesn't like. First of all, you start liking.
I mean, I like her.
Rabbi says at this point, when darkness is overcoming, all the configuration is done. All the calculation is done. No more calculation. Every day, everywhere we can bring light, we bring light. And you light Shabbat candles, even on a physical level. You bring light to the world. How much more so on a spiritual level? You give a few cents to the Khan and ask Hashem, I'm lighting, you light. Please. I'm doing your mitzvah. You do your mitzvah. You do what you promised. You're going to bring light to the world. You're going to bring strength to the world. You're going to harmony to the world. And encourage one more girl to do this. Even, the Rebbe said, even from 3 years old. Give a few cents to the car and light Shabbat candles. You can't imagine the power of light. You can't imagine the power of light. Listen, you know that every military has its standard weapons, and the storage has the tanks and the airplanes, and then for the big thing that has like the secret weapon that only uses. But maybe for 1,000 generation when there was so much more light, with more tzaddikim and everybody understood more. Okay, so you use a standard. Only married women and so forth. But today the enemy is so unbelievably insane. You need to think from the stories hasn't been.
Rockmeister, who loves you?
You I love.
Thank you. Having some kind of fun.
Oh.
I'm off to get some money. Some Persian guys in Westboro. Wish me luck.
We need the biggest atomic bombs today. You know what? Nerot Shabbat Kodesh. Nerot Shabbat Kodesh. You know what it means? Nerot Shabbat Kodesh. You know what it means? Shabbos candles, right? What is the acronym?
Really? It's sold
Nun,
out
Shin, Kuf, Neshek.
seats in Pier 60, whatever is Manhattan.
Neshek. It's the biggest weapon we have.
So I
Light.
have to inhale cigar smoke.
We
to
don't
convince these
shoot.
guys to open up
Soldiers
their
have to
wallets
do what they have to do.
instead
They
of
have to do.
buying
We're self
homes in
supporting.
Sunny Isles.
But
It's
we-
hard sell, but
We don't deal with.
Not
We
there.
don't want to use Esau's hands. We have a power of Torah, mitzvot, of light.
Is that a yes?
Ask most of all the soldiers. They don't want to be fighting right now. They don't want to kill. They don't want to hurt a person or kill a person. They dread this. They dread this. It's so much in pain where they have to, but they have to because everybody's coming at us. So you have to defend yourself. But you have the power of light.
I want you to.
You have the power of light.
At least
Utilize
hear
it.
yourself.
I know it's unconventional and it's never been there, but this is the time. And get as many girls to light Shabbat candles, at least one, and give a few cents to the tzedakah. From as young as 3 years old. Because Mashiach is literally, you can't imagine how close we are.
Nice to see you.
You can't, we're almost like,
Good night,
you know, you're,
Thank you.
Shabbos Farbrengen. Again.
Friday or Saturday?
Shabbos. My wife is back, is going to be back.
Oh, I'm so happy. Okay.
You want to hear a miracle story?
Yes.
Yesterday was my father's yard site. Yesterday was my father's yard site, and I had to. I went to the Ohel to daven, and I didn't have time to go I didn't have time to go into the Ohel, so I just opened the door of the steps, and I said to Rabbi, "We need a miracle. Menachem Mendel ben Miriam Sar needs to be protected, and so on and so forth." And my wife and kids need to go. My Zaman is, but there were no flights. They told them November 3rd, maybe October 22nd. I said, Rabbi, we need a miracle. The last time I said those words, it was less than a week before my first operation, where I'm that. And I didn't even know what I was saying.
They're the best.
I was just like, within an hour, all of a sudden, there was a charter flight to Athens, and from Athens to here.
Amazing.
We need, right now is a time of, you can't imagine the miracles you can experience right now. Right now, as the darkest it is, the potential for light is unprecedented. What are we taking? What are we taking upon ourselves, Emerson?
What do I take?
Yeah, Devorah.
I think you have to stand up.
No, what are you taking practically?
What do you mean taking?
What are you gonna do?
Oh, what am I gonna do?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm actually thinking.
Okay, how about this? How about this?
I'd like to.
How about
figure that out.
3 hours of Shabbat? No phones, no television, no lights. You leave the lights on in the bathrooms. You unscrew the light in the refrigerator, or put it in Shabbat mode. 3 hours dedicated only to Hashem and to every one of our brothers and sisters.
Rabbi, recently I started, I used to light Shabbat candles all the time, and then I stopped
Right.
because of my situation.
Right.
And then now I started consistently, like, for months.
That's
Every
great. That
Shabbat,
was
no
great
matter
until
what
this
it
moment.
is.
That was
Right,
great.
right.
Go back to you, and Baruch Hashem, more
So
power
now
to
you're
you.
saying, what's the next step? Okay.
Could we do 3 hours? And you say, as you light Shabbat candles, Hashem, I'm doing this for you. I'm asking you to take this light and shine upon all of our people and protect us from any darkness. Yes?
Yes.
Of course you could do this. You're a Jewish. Listen, to have Israel, Yehuda Israel, the boy is the essence of the mother.
Yes, he is.
So,
I was even trying to matchmake when he was giving the speech. I'm like, how old is he again? Okay. I have a 14.
no, listen.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rabbi. Good
Thank
night.
you. Mariasha, what's going to be new? What's going to be new?
So,
Think about it until Shabbos, and then write it down, and then we're going to bring it to we go to the Ohel next week in Beis Hashem. By Rachel Imenu, your side, we're going to the Ohel.
I think I could do the first hour of Shabbat.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Rabbi, we have a kashrut question though.
Kashrut?
Yes.
What's the question?
So, just with getting like more intentional. So, can you say what
She was telling me that she lives in an apartment. So I remember when I was in an apartment, it's easier to have most of your cups and plates and everything made out of glass. So that when you're washing dairy or meat in one sink.
What do you recommend?
If you only have one sink, there's some people who put inserts for dairies,
Right.
and then for meat they put it.
Okay.
But whatever you do, make sure that you don't leave the dishes inside, especially if there's some water and so on and so forth in there, in the sink. And most importantly, it's time to Bezrat Hashem move to a home with 2 sinks and so on and so forth. You need to Farbrengen. You need to have Farbrengen in your house. It's time to Ki Yachiv Hashem Gvulcha. Hashem should expand your vicinity, your borders.
Amen.
Chaim Chavrocha.
But for now, how can she do?
So right
Let's
now
say
we
she's
have
using
the
a pot.
insert, like the.
Oh, you also use it?
No, so we have the rack.
Yeah.
Mariasha, what's your full name? Mariasha Bat
Shana Etta.
Shana Etta. She should give a bracha. You should have an everlasting edifice in a beautiful home based on the values of Torah mitzvahs and illuminated in the innermost dimension of Torah. Chaim.
Amen.
Rabbi, should I prepare a tea for you?
I'm going to see you Shabbat.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you Shul, put on tefillin.
Yes.
Put on tefillin in the morning?
Yes, I do.
I don't know.
No, I can't hear that.
I said that's what
Thank you to your son for what he was doing on his
Text him, let him know.
I have his number.
Text me and I'll send him to you.
Okay, but you're okay?
Of course.
Good. I thought I'd buy the